VLSos here. This is a video lesson for pre-algebra on lines or linear. Linear is an adjective to describe a line. I'm going to give an example of an equation. We could also graph this equation. We have techniques for graphing. But for now, I'm going to sketch the graph of this equation so we can see the equation visually. A graph is a visualization of information. In this case, we have this equation that graphs as this line. So we can call this equation a linear equation because the graph of that equation graphs to look like a line. We want to say that this is a linear equation because it graphs a line. We're going to talk about lines in general, properties that all lines have. One thing in mathematics that is true about all lines is that lines are perfectly straight. This may not be the case in an art class. A line in art might curve. What's important is maybe that a line, an artistic line, is a sharp distinction between two regions. In mathematics, when we use linear or a line to describe an equation or a graph, then we're communicating that it is absolutely and perfectly straight. We have the most simple or the most basic equation of a line, and that is the equation y is equal to x. If we want to talk about linear equations, this is as simple as it gets. And we use the word parent to refer to the equation, the parent equation that is the most simple one. In parentheses, I'm going to describe this use of this word parent. We mean that it's the most basic equation. There are other parent equations for other types of graphs and equations. This is the parent equation for lines. Something that we will talk about more in the future, a property of lines, all lines have slope. There's lots to say about slope. For now, we could just imagine if a line is heading up like a mountain, then it has a positive slope. The slope goes up. If it heads down like a ski slope, then the line has negative slope. All lines have a certain measure of how intensely they go up or down. They may be horizontal and have a zero slope. Lots to say about slope in other lessons. Another thing that can be said about all lines, the shape of a line is called linear. Linear is an adjective that describes a line. A line is a noun. It's a conceptual thing that we study in math. And an equation that graphs a line is called a linear equation. In our example, we have a linear equation. Its graph is this line. little bit more to say about this example and vocabulary. The numbers, in this case, this equation includes the number 3 and a minus 2. The numbers 3 and negative 2, we can say are modifications or transformations of the parent equation. This is a fairly sophisticated way to think. There's lots to say about transformations and transformations of equations. For now, let's just note that we have what we call the parent linear equation. It's the simplest form of linear equation that's possible. Y is equal to x. And so when we compare it to this example of a line, notice that we've included a 3 that multiplies the x, and we've also included subtracting 2. Including those numbers is numbers or mathematics that transforms the parent equation into another linear equation. The parent equation, compared to the graph of our example, is this dotted line. The dotted line is y equals x. It's a linear equation, the simplest one. And by multiplying x by 3 and subtracting 2, we have changed that parent equation, and therefore we've changed the graph of this dotted line into the other one, this solid line here.